All right, I would like to call the City Planning Commission meeting for Wednesday, July 9th, 2025 to order. Ms. Benninger, if you would please call the roll.
Will Parsons,
Here.
AJ Minto,
Present.
Gabriel Shaneline,
Here, there you go.
Nancy Griffith,
Here.
Roger Daniel,
Here.
David Cash, Tara Ramsey.
Here.
If you would, please rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have meeting minutes from the May 14th meeting as well as the June 11th. Do any members have any requested changes or additions to these minutes? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll second.
Mr. Parsons,
Yes.
Mr. Minto,
Yes.
Mr. Shaneline,
Yes.
Ms. Griffith,
Yes.
Mr. Daniel,
Yes.
Ms. Ramsey.
Yes.
All right, first item on the agenda is a public hearing for a text amendment, which is a consideration of a text amendment to the Middletown Development Code initiated by City Council.
So this is a text amendment to Chapter 122601, the Review and Decision-Making Authorities section of the chapter, specifically for the Historic Commission. This is to add the consideration of adding a City Council member as an additional non-voting member to the Historic Commission. So before you on the screen, you can see the current text. I know it's a little blurry, but fairly simply, on the screen now is the proposed text amendment. All highlighted in bolded yellow language is the proposed addition. And then there's your text amendment review criteria, and that will conclude my staff report.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions or comments for staff at this time?
Since Mr. Cash isn't here, who's doing the swearing in? Should we?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to keep things procedural.
Turned it off again. All right, anybody who is planning to provide testimony tonight, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are going to provide this evening is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief? Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Other than that, I have actually, I did have one question, but Mr. Horn might address it if he stands to speak. But I'm just kind of wondering, like, why is this in front of us? Is this because, like, this would be amendment to the chapter that we have power over amending?
So the Planning Commission has the ability to amend text in the Middletown Development Code. So that's Chapter 1200 of the city's codified ordinances. This is Chapter 1226. So if you ever look at the Middletown Development Code, it goes Chapter 1202, 1204, 12, and so on, ironically. And then, so this will be in Chapter 1226, excuse me, which is where the Planning Commission, City Council, Historic Commission, Architectural Review Board, all the way down to Development Code Administrator, Review and Decision-Making Authorities is housed.
All right.
Thanks.
Anything else?
I've been a member of the Historic Commission for quite a while, and we requested this a number of times. This is welcomed by us. But in looking at this, if you read number 6, I think it's almost impossible for us to do that because we have 6 or 7 different historic districts now. But it's something for the future, not for now.
Okay. Something to think about.
I would make a motion to approve it as written.
I think first we need to open the, yeah. Although I can't imagine there'll be too much. Otherwise I would also be in favor. All right, then in that case, let's go ahead and open up the public hearing. First off, if there's anyone wishing to speak in favor of this text amendment, please come forward.
Can I sit?
I think that's okay.
Yes, I wrote this and then I pushed it forward through legal. Current, to go along with Roger's comment, current members of the Historical Commission has requested. The comment was, why don't we have a city council member coming to our meetings? And the purpose of this is just like this. And that's why also it's a non-voting member, just like this, but when you ask for something, you're going to get it, meaning that, and I volunteered and I will be coming to the historical meetings from this point forward. As you can tell, I don't sit back there. I sit up here as a member of this group. That's what we're asking for your consideration, to send back to City Council for put into legislation, and then we'll vote to add a City Council member, non-voting, to be part of the Historical Commission. And it's just because this is why I encourage you guys, everyone here, to, even if you don't have public hearings, that you still at least have a meeting to review the minutes and discuss text amendments. That we have 6 or 7 historic districts. Do we have representation from all of them? Because I was looking through that, and I'm actually going to ask the city planner for a map, because I noticed that we have the South Main Historical District, but we also have the Business Historical District. We have a Central Avenue Historical District. Is that my house? Because my house is over 100 years old. We have Oakland. We have all these historical districts. We need to make sure that they're mapped out properly. So that's what you guys can do, is provide text amendments for City Council to consider and to work through our ordinance for the betterment of the city and then of the citizens. But this is what this is for. This is just this is a non-controversial text amendment. See, I can do that. But it just makes sense that we have this. And also, as a side point, which has nothing to do with legislation or anything like that, but I suggested City Council that whoever sits, the City Council man or woman that sits with the Planning Commission also sits with Historical, because they go kind of hand in hand. So I'm hoping they'll listen. After December, they don't have to listen to me anymore, and that's fine. But it just kind of makes sense, because then if not, then you have 2 different people reporting, one from this commission and one from Historical back to the City Council. But it's just one more reason that we need to continue to question things and look into our ordinances. And I think we even are paying someone to update our ordinances language-wise and getting things that repeat. This was missed. They are an advisory board, just like you folks are, just like zoning is, just like all the other boards. So that's what the purpose of this text amendment is just to add a City Council person into the language, so then there'll be someone in attendance, or should be appointed to that attendance.
Very good, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor, please come forward. Having no response, we'll move along. If there's anyone wishing to speak in opposition to this text amendment, please come forward. Having no response, I will close the public hearing. Do we have any other needed discussion or deliberation? Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I was going to say I'll make a motion to approve the text amendment.
I'll second.
Mr. Parsons?
Yes.
Mr. Mentel?
Yes.
Mr. Shainline?
Yes.
Ms. Griffith?
Yes.
Mr. Daniel?
Yes.
Ms. Ramsey?
Yes.
All right, our next item is a public hearing for a map amendment, which is a consideration of a map amendment zone change, which is initiated by city staff.
All right, so this is for 3409 through 3413 Vanessa Avenue, parcels known listed there. The parcels are a total of approximately just over 3/4 of an acre and is currently zoned R3 medium density residential district. City staff requests a map amendment to rezone the remaining portion of the multi-tenant building to B1 neighborhood business district. This will still go to City Council for their consideration. For property background, the subject parcels are currently zoned R3, which the purpose of the R3 is to provide for moderate density, single-family residential uses in an urban setting which are served completely by public infrastructure adequate for the applicable density of development. Butler County Auditor identifies there to be one continuous structure across 5 different parcels listed with their also known addresses if available. The structure was built in 1946 and has a total of 40,108 square feet of gross building area. The 5 parcels were last transferred in 2013. As for surrounding property zoning designations and uses, to the north there is the R4, which is existing residences and an automotive repair shop, so that would be a non-conforming use in that zoning district. To the east is the R3 zoning district, just existing residences. To the south of this property is B1 and R3, which is a vacant commercial structure and existing residences. And to the west of this property is B1. This is the existing commercial building the continuous shopping center attached to 3409, 3411, and I have a typo, 3413 Vanessa Avenue. Here is the property today, all in July of 24. Here is the B1 zoning district with its boundaries highlighted. Here is the R3 zoning district with the boundaries highlighted. Getting into staff analysis, looking at the purpose statements of the zoning districts, the existing building that is partially in the R3 zoning district currently would be better aligned with the purpose of the proposed zone change B1. B1 zoning district's purpose is to provide for areas of the city that may contain small-scale commercial service and office uses that provide access to the day-to-day goods and services local residents and businesses require, but that is at a much smaller scale than the more intense business districts. This district is intended to be located in close proximity to residential neighborhoods and to allow for ease of access to goods and services. As for the future land use map, this is in the single-family future land use category, so there is discrepancy in how the map amendment would address that future land use map, but for a continuous building, that is why it's proposed. Lastly, this in the development opportunity area map in our comprehensive plan, this is in the Northern Breel Development Opportunity Area, which you guys had that vision read to you at the last meeting, so I won't go into detail on that. No other department comments have been received at this time, and no comments from the public have been received to date. Here's your map amendment review criteria, and that will conclude my staff report.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for staff at this time? Okay. In that case, we'll move forward. I will open up the public hearing. If there's anyone wishing to speak in favor of this map amendment, please come forward. Sir, if you would be sworn in by our counsel here and then identify yourself, please.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Right.
My name is Philip Stokes. I'm representative of Endicott, Inc., which is the owner of the building. Can we put that first slide back on? I don't know what everyone else's thoughts or feelings, or if they're even familiar with the building. The parcel in question is the yellow, which is attached to the B1. That R3 use, property use, was something that was done back, you know, it says, you said the building was built in 43, is that correct? It's been used as a B1 building for at least 60 years. And it's just, I think, something that got kind of swept under the rug, lost in translation at some point in time. So keep it short and simple. I think, you know, it would be wise and, you know, beneficial for everyone to, finally get this zoned correctly. So I don't know what your thoughts or whatever are on that, but it would definitely benefit us, and I think it would benefit the neighborhood, because it has been used for B1, that area, that entire building, for over 60 years. Well, for, you know, longer than 60 years, but, so anyways, that's what I've got to say, and hopefully you guys
Do
take
we have any, real quick before you go, do we have any questions that could be directed to the owner? No? Okay, you're good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor, please come forward and identify yourself. Or stay seated and identify yourself.
Councilman Paul Horn. Yeah, just to herald what he said. At one time, this was an IGA grocery store, which fed that area, and I know there's a great concern in our city about having grocery stores throughout the city. That area, by definition, would be what they call a food desert, because you have to go to Needler's or you have to go up to Kroger's. So putting this back where it should be in the B might entice a grocer or farmer's market or just even some type of business for that area. So it's just one more thing that, as he said, just kind of fell through the cracks. It was always being used as a business, and I think we just need to just return it and be done with it.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor, please come forward and identify yourself. Having no response, I will ask that if there's anyone wishing to speak in opposition, to please come forward and identify yourself. Seeing no response, I will close the public hearing. I don't know about the rest of the board. This feels pretty simple to me, very logical. It's one building, should all be in one zone. I would entertain a motion to accept the map amendment.
I'll second.
Is that you?
I second, yeah.
Mr. Parsons?
Yes.
Mr. Mentel?
Yes.
Mr. Shaneline?
Yes.
Ms. Griffith?
Yes.
Mr. Daniel?
Yes.
Ms. Ramsey?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Moving on to our next item is a public hearing for a final plat, which is a request by John Bayer of Bayer Becker on behalf of property owner Ravello Properties LLC for approval of a final plat of the Havenwood planned development.
For property background, the proposed final plat of Havenwood is the major subdivision of the planned development district that received final development plan approval on April 10th of 2024. The approved final development plan for Havenwood established the minimum lot widths to be 20 feet wide, minimum lot depths to be at least 85 feet measured from private roadway, a minimum front yard setback of 25 feet, and a minimum front yard setback of 25 feet, and a minimum side yard setback of 10 feet between buildings. The subject area is zoned B2P Planned Development District effective October 20th of 2023 with the passage of the ordinance you see on the screen. I will not read the Planned Development District purpose. As for the staff analysis, I didn't go into how it aligns with our different codes. This is already a planned development. This is a bit more of a formality. The proposed plat of the subdivision submitted by Bayer Becker includes a total of 49 parcels, 47 parcels for dwelling units, 1 parcel for open space, and 1 parcel for a future commercial parcel. Of the entire subdivision, that equates to just over 8 acres. Just over 2.5 acres will house dwelling units. Just over 3.5 acres will be designated as open space, and just under 2 acres has been designated as the commercial outparcel. There's a total of 3 private streets to be known as Forest Haven Drive, Oakshade Lane, and Juniper Crest Road. The plat establishes a variety of easements that you can see on the screen. And lastly, there is a 100-year drainage route between lots 16 and 17. The current parcel does feature flood zone X, designated as the, 0.2% annual chance of flood hazard. However, no buildings are proposed in that flood zone. The number and layout of proposed dwellings on the record plat found on page 4 of the submission is consistent with the approved final development plan. The 47 parcels for dwellings adhere to the final development plan for minimum lot width and depth. The plat appears to be complete and has been deemed acceptable by the applicable city departments. Following approval of the proposed plat, the plat must be adopted and endorsed by city council prior to recording. So here is page 1 of the record plat, page 2, page 3, and page 4. For other department comments, not totally applicable, but still important to adhere to, the developer shall not block the 100-year drainage route with any structure between lots 16 and 17. As for the fire department's comments, no structure such as a dumpster shall be placed in the intersection of Forest Haven Drive and Juniper Crest Road. On the screen is also the review criteria for a major subdivision, and that will conclude my staff report.
Thank you. Do you have any questions that can be addressed to staff at this time?
Were there any major changes from the preliminary?
So we have not fully been adhering to our major subdivision process in terms of a preliminary plat approval as well as the final plat approval. We've just been doing the preliminary development plan and then a final development plan. So as it looks to the preliminary development plan and final development plan, there is no major changes.
Is the other department comments that were received, are those recommendations for us to have as part of our acceptance, or are those things that are like they're baked in?
Since this is more of a formal planning commission approving the final plat as well as city council, I didn't add any staff recommendation other than I would probably recommend approval for this.
Okay.
And just to be clear, this development is pretty much being built on top of an existing creek. From what I saw,
there
on
is
the-
no, they're not building in any flood zone.
Okay.
So once you're outside of the 0.2% annual chance, you are permitted to build. There is no concern about how that would impact the city's national flood insurance program standing or anything like that. Once you start making any substantial improvements, any substantial damages, as well as building without permits adhering to our floodplain regulations, that's when we are looking at concerns with the floodplain. There is no construction in the floodplain proposed.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, hearing no other responses, I'll move to the public hearing. If there's anyone wishing to speak in favor of this final plat approval, please come forward and identify yourself.
Hello, my name's Mihaly Sevastakis with Bear Becker. I'm just here to kind of, the development currently is under construction. I think they plan to have it done by August, September timeframe, with homes going up pretty shortly after. We haven't had any issues with any streams or any issues with any of the surrounding neighbors. And I think it's an improvement up on the surrounding area. That's what I have.
Thank you. Do we have any questions that can be addressed to the applicant?
Awesome.
No? All right, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor, please come forward and identify yourself. Having no response, I'll ask if there's anyone wishing to speak in opposition to please come forward and identify yourself. Again, having no response, I will close the public hearing and move to deliberation.
I'm not necessarily saying this in opposition, but I don't know, there's just something that's nagging me about this with all of the historic flooding that has been facing this country recently. I mean, Kentucky a couple weeks ago, down in Texas recently, the devastating floods in like North Carolina in the south after Hurricane Helene. I can't say I don't have like reservations about the proximity here, but I understand this is like at the end of the process. This has kind of already been hashed out, but those are kind of my thoughts on that. Just putting them out there.
I just want to clarify what it means when you are, so yes, you're next to a flood zone. However, building where they are building is technically building like at the town mall. There is no flood zone there. It's important to know where it's at in proximity to know you're not building in it, to make sure the city does not become sanctioned by the NFIP. But I understand your concerns. I just want to clarify that there is no construction happening in the flood zone. That's the parcel that they have, and they're not constructing in the flood zone. So there's no concern from the city.
Thank you.
There's no major river over there.
Also,
Just Dix Creek is supposed to.
right, and right behind it, isn't that Nicholas, according to the map, Nicholas Square owns that, so they could continue to develop. They just haven't, so that, and that's in the same area. I think they wouldn't have been able to.
I mean, I haven't like walked the area myself or anything, so that's kind of like, I just see a creek on the map and I kind of have a little bit of a reservation, but it's not an objection.
Thank you. Do we have any other items that should be addressed? All right. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll second.
Mr. Parsons?
Yes.
Mr. Mentel?
Yes.
Mr. Shaneline?
Yes.
Ms. Griffith?
Yes.
Mr. Daniel?
Yes.
Ms. Ramsey?
Yes.
All right, that brings us to old and new business. The one item listed being the 2020 to 2025 Planning Commission case review.
So I know you guys asked for acreage of the PD, so I did go ahead and pull all of those in addition to what you have already seen for status. As you can see, basically all of them are well over that 5-acre minimum of a planned development district requirement. The only ones that are not is the gas station on the corner, southwest corner of Manchester and Dixie, as well as the villas at Emerald Enclave. However, that was part of an old preliminary development plan back from 1970s or 80s, I believe. And that was intended to be a phase 2 of some existing condos. And then the last one is just the Wawa proposal.
Do you have any updates on what's been going on with the gas station? I see here it has like the pending.
Yeah, so actually today they just paid their first civil penalty that also had a default fine attached to it. The property owner's wife came in and paid that with our paralegal. So she encouraged them to reach out to me to get in touch to see what would be needed to get in compliance. Just because they paid the penalty does not mean they are in compliance. It just means they've paid the penalty. So if no further action is taken, then we continue back with the second civil penalty. If that is not paid, then we may restart the process and look into the criminal process.
Gotcha. Thank you for that clarification. Thank you for compiling this for us as well.
You're welcome. Do you have any more questions, or do you want to see any other cases before you, a history of cases, anything like that? Or we can always save old and new business for forward-looking as well.
I mean, I have nothing at this time unless anybody else has anything. Although it is good and interesting to see, especially, a number of these have occurred since some of us have been on the board now, but even though some of these were kind of just before we got here, it's good to be able to get a good understanding of what all has come before this board. And especially in looking at thinking of the future, if we have other maybe kind of non-conforming applicants. I know in my decision making, it's always nice to have precedents to go on. So this is helpful.
I have a question. What was the River Bend subdivision? I wasn't here.
So you guys, if you think back to last meeting, you heard the request for the parcel to the south of the elementary school. If you go north of the elementary school, you have those two subdivisions, and then northeast is a large 92-acre parcel where that was proposed.
Okay. Thanks.
Also, Claire, so in the Atticus Apartments, that was Jordan, so that was, he pulled his request and now the land's for sale.
It is, yes, so it is for sale, however, the development plan is still approved.
Okay.
So if ex-developer wanted to come in and buy that, they could. However, I was in a meeting last week with another civil engineering firm to refresh, I guess, the site plan. So that may be before you in the near future. I did let them know that they have the extension granted from Planning Commission to start construction within, by November. However, there is the ability to apply for another time frame extension to have up to, I believe, 4 years between final development plan approval and construction commencing.
Just to refresh your guys' memory on that, that was the 314?
It is
314 unit apartments right across from the atrium.
That's what I was gonna ask. with
Yeah, it's
the on-use.
McDonald's, that parcel of land, and then the atrium. But when I saw that, I just had lots of conversation with Jordan. So I just wanted to but I did not know that the submission's still there, so that if we can get someone else to come in there and develop it.
Or he might gain traction. I had received an email, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, from somebody in Texas, I believe that's working on the financing of Jordan's project, and he was asking about Gateway Lofts. So that might be like become more feasible for him to construct. I don't know how financing works, but
Gateway Lofts, that's
part of Renaissance Point. So you can always have bigger planned development districts that have a variety of uses, which can come in as their own final development plans, or you can kind of have just those more traditional, I guess, planned development districts that are one use or multiple buildings, or a couple uses, multiple buildings, stuff like that.
Very good.
I don't have any further questions, but thank you for putting this together. I think having the acreage added to it kind of helps give like the context needed for these.
Yep, agreed. All right, is there anything else for the good of the order?
I have new business.
Please.
I'd like to welcome our 7th member, Tara Ramsey Hunter, make sure I got it right, newest citizen and 7th member of your planning commission. Welcome. You look new, but you look familiar.
I replaced Tara Ramsey Hunter. I'm Tara Ramsey.
Okay, there you go.
No, you're fine.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Happy to have you with us again. All right, anything else?
Oh, actually, yes. I don't know if you guys were listening in at the last city council meeting, but city council did approve the request for spending the money to update the zoning code. So that will be commencing somewhat soon. We still have to get the contract all finalized on the city's end. But there will be engagement with Planning Commission at a variety of steps. So
Cool.
I'm excited. I hope.
So a lot of text amendments coming our way then.
Yeah, so if you guys have any text amendments, if they're urgent, please bring them up. If they're not, maybe just a long-term consideration, then we can definitely have those conversations. But Planning Commission as well as City Council will be engaged. That was part of the proposal. I really like that approach, so. Yeah, they are out of California, so there is a 3-hour difference. However, they seem to know their stuff, so.
Cool.
So does that mean that like we'll be having like hearings here for the planning commission talking about like some of the changes, or is there going to be like direct interface like with us like outside of the public? Well, I guess it has to be a public.
It has to be
Yeah.
public. So what they propose is to do a formal kickoff with Planning Commission and City Council. That date has not been set yet, and then along the way, as portions of the code are updated, they will be released to Planning Commission for your consideration prior to the consideration for full adoption to ensure that everybody's on board. We're all going in the same direction. That way, you don't want to get to the end of the project and then Planning Commission feels totally different, City Council feels totally different. So there is going to be a variety of touch bases as well as they will be interacting with up to 4 focus groups. I know Mr. Daniel has hopes to have builders and be in the same room. I like the idea of having a downtown group to align with the downtown refresh, as well as the considerations for historic. So those have not been decided yet, but those were all part of their proposal.
Well, that's very interesting and very exciting. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, any other items? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, so moved.